I've been playing a bunch of the 6v6 playtest recently, and I just want to put it out there that I have never played Overwatch 1. I am an Overwatch 2 player. I am used to 5v5. I have never played 6v6 before this. And seeing all the hype online, I was super excited for this playtest, and boy oh boy was I surprised when the game that I've been playing for the past 2 years actually feels good now. So something I never knew about was tank synergy. It's a thing now in 6v6, and oh my god does it feel good. The biggest issue I had with playing tank in 5v5 is I'm just the brunt of everything, right? I have to take all the in and aids, I have to take all the sleep, I take all the hooks. Every single person is shooting me in the video game. Now in 6v6 there's another person to take the brunt of that damage. It actually makes me want to play tank, which I never want to play tank in 5v5. It feels so bad to me. Now this is coming from a high gold low plat player at best, so take it with a grain of salt, but I absolutely love playing Zarya now, a tank that I always saw as clunky, as slow. There's like no high ground for Zarya. You sit on cart, you sit main, and you try to bubble people when you can, and you try to prevent the dive. But in 6v6, it feels so much better. I can be proactive with my bubbles. Now I don't have to depend on a Genji that's throwing to feed me. I can actually bubble my tank, and they can go in like that. It feels unreal to me. Someone that has only known 5v5 now playing 6v6, Zarya is so much fun. It's unfathomable. This game mode legit made me like playing tank. Like if 6v6 was a thing, I would be more willing to queue up tank. If one of our tanks dies, did you know that I can go try to get something called a tank trade and then the fight is still winnable? Dude, in 5v5, if your tank dies, you're done. That fight is over. You need a backup. You either need to save resources or you need to die on point and try to stall. The comparisons are wild to me. And like I said, I've only ever played 5v5, so hearing all these 6v6ers talking all this trash over the past year and a half, like I was getting kind of tired of it. But now I see what they are saying. From a low rank or from a casual rank Overwatch 2 player, never touched Overwatch 1, 6v6 feels so much better, dude. Now, is more team play a good or a bad thing? And to talk about that, we need to think to ourselves, is Overwatch 2 trying to go towards the MOBA route, or is it trying to go towards more of an FPS route? Because honestly, with 6v6, I feel like there is so much more strategical depth to this game. I can actually enable my tanks. There's so much more playmaking ability on the tank role. Like I said, it actually makes me want to play tank more. And I have been playing tank more in 6v6 only. 5v5, I think tank is an awful role to play. But with 5v5, I really do think they were trying to make Overwatch 2 more into like a shooter game, like a FPS, like a true FPS, like a COD game, you know? They claim to add more player agency, but honestly in 6v6 as a tank player, I felt more player agency than I ever have in 5v5. But maybe that's only to the tank role. 5v5 just felt like really shooty, like really FPS-y. Like my main is Ashe in competitive. The only reason why I chose Ashe, well, besides Bob, is because all I have to do is just shoot stuff and it won me games. That doesn't feel that good in a team-based shooter, right? Now, carry potential in low elos is really high depending on what hero you play, but even on Ashe, if I felt that carry potential, it never felt good to me. Like I felt like our team should have been able to do way more, and maybe that's my fault coming into Overwatch 2 thinking this was a team-based shooter. This is not a team-based shooter. Overwatch 2 5v5 is you need to carry your team or you lose. That's literally how it feels to me. Like I said, I'm high gold, low plat at best. And just when I was playing tank in 6v6, I felt way less pressure. Like not every single cooldown was being thrown at me specifically. I felt less pressure in that aspect, and I felt more pressure on to actually enable the team fight, right? Set the tempo. Remember when Ramatra was released and everyone said tempo tank? In 6v6, any tank is a tempo tank. That's wild to me. But just having another tank to alleviate some of that pressure made tank actually enjoyable. And for me, like I'm a 5v5er. I've only ever known 5v5, but 6v6 is just a new game mode. And just because of that, it has a lot of fun to it. I don't want to push that out the way. Like, yes, it's a shiny new toy I get to play with. So of course I'm going to be attracted to it more and more. But with that bias out of the way, like I still feel so much better playing tank in the 6v6. Now, like I said, it feels good, but there are times that it actually does feel bad because I've had the experience of a lot of tanks just W King, or a lot of like DPS players W King, and I feel like they're not trying in the quick play playtest. Why would you try in quick play, bro? Can someone answer me that? I feel like if they added a ranked mode to this in the beginning, like people would have tried, people would have put in the effort. I won't get a Reinhardt that's going 007. I have to call him James Bond in the chat. Like it's not even flaming at that point, bro. It's just pointing out the obvious. Like, what are you doing, W King? So that has been an issue in my elo specifically. I'm not sure about higher elos. I'm sure people are actually having fun and trying in higher elos. Overall, tank feels so much better in my opinion, as someone who hates playing tank in 5v5 because I hate the format of a super tank just running around. But in 6v6, I actually get to bounce off of someone, right? I get to support someone else, I get to enable someone else, I get to enable myself at certain times. It feels so much more strategically depth. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It feels better. And I'm upset that the only mode I ever played before this was 5v5 because I feel like I've been missing out on so much. And that's no hate to Blizzard or the Overwatch team. Like, they went the route they did, but I just never played Overwatch 1, so I never even felt what 6v6 felt like until now. And I want to give props to the Overwatch team for allowing this to happen, because now I'm pretty concrete. When it comes to tank gameplay, 6v6 is the better option. All those annoying 6v6 videos that you've seen over the past couple years, dude, hey, they're right. They were right the entire time. I hope they feel some sort of validation in the fight that they have been fighting for, because it just feels better. As a tank player, undoubtedly it feels better. Now, I do want to talk about DPS, all right? They feel okay, I guess. I don't like that they kept all the passives, because from my understanding in Overwatch 1, there were hero specific passives, but now there's like role specific passives that don't really feel good on most of the characters. I don't like class based passives. I feel like if your character has a passive, it should be for that character specifically. Like if you have a melee character, they should be booped less by something like a Lucio or a Pharah boop. That just makes sense in my opinion, because they're a melee character. They have to get in close. But anyway, with the passives out the window, I really hope they remove them at some point so we can actually see what the raw gameplay feels like. But with DPS, I've been having a bunch of fun on Hanzo actually. I just been running it down Hanzo, Soldier, Sojourn, and I've actually been playing a bunch of Widowmaker in the 6v6 playtest. I've also been playing a bunch of Widow in 5v5 unranked as well. And I feel like that's the one DPS that is the outlier, because although she has been dominating, literally dominating the entire ranked ladder for the past 2 seasons, Widowmaker in the 6v6 actually feels decent. Like, she's not broken. She feels okay to play as, she feels okay to play against. You have another option. You can switch to a diva on your secondary tank and actually dive her. Like you have another tank to stay with the team, to protect the team in that huge brawl fight, but then you also have another tank to actually go and dive the Widow. The biggest thing for countering Widowmaker is just knowing where she's at. If you know where she is at, even in 5v5, it is possible to counter her. But when you can't get to her, that is the problem. And why can't people usually get to her? Well, in 5v5, the tank usually has to stay with the team. Your tank can't just go Winton and just go dive the Widowmaker every single time she, threats her presence. Every time she's holding down a lane without actually being in that lane, you know what I mean? You can literally dive her. In 6v6, you can take care of the Widow. Oh my god. Not only the Sombras, not only the Tracers, not only the Genjis, but you had a freaking tank to go check that Widow. That does not happen in 5v5, man. The last video I made, half of that video was ranting about Widowmaker in 5v5 and how oppressive she is right now. It makes absolutely no sense to have that server admin on the server sniping you from halfway across the map. But in 6v6, she actually feels good to play with and against, in my opinion. I feel like 6v6 literally makes her balanced. Like, it solves all the issues. Even with the Sombra rework, it literally solves the issues. Now, I kind of broke this video up into sections, right? Tank first, DPS, and now we're gonna go ahead and talk about support. Now, I will not lie, support in 6v6 feels a lot more hectic. I'm legit doing double the healing that I do in 5v5 as a 6v6 unranked match. And because of that healing demand, like you having 2 different tanks that you need to pocket now plus 2 DPS, it gets kind of hectic with the healings, I will say. But because of that, I've seen way less like flanking Kirikos and DPS Moiras, which both are a huge issue in 5v5. If you ask me, in my opinion, I think Kiriko being able to Suzu and TP and get out while getting a kill, like that is a support player I don't know. Should support players be able to do that? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. The very first character I ever played on this game was Moira. She is what taught me the push and pull of Overwatch. She taught me how to play the game pretty much. And like the whole positioning aspect, when to get out, when to go in, like Moira taught me that. And I used to DPS Moira, but just with 6v6, you see a lot less DPS Moiras. And because of that, she feels way less cheesy. Like, dude, I really think some of these DPS Moiras, they switch the binds on their mouse. I'm pretty sure some of them have the damage on their primary. But yeah, Kiri, Moira, cheesy supports like that feel way less cheesy in the 6v6 game mode. Not only that, but like something like Kiriko's Suzu, because there are 2 tanks, it feels way less cheap. If they bail out one person, they actually have to make the decision like, do I bail out this person or do I bail out this person? But in 5v5, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna Suzu the tank infinitely off cooldown. Like even something as broken as like a BAP lamp or a Kiri Suzu feels better in 6v6. I don't, and like I said, I've only ever played 5v5. This is my first time experiencing 6v6, but this is truly what I see. This is how I feel. So let me know if I'm wrong. Now, is less damage as a support player good? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Me, someone who likes to say they main support, I think it's a good thing. I do like supporting my teammates, right? That's why I play support. I like to enable my teammates. I like to bail out my teammates. I can read the battlefield a lot more as a support player. And in 6v6, that feels even better because there's 2 tanks doing 2 different things and I have to keep track of both of them. That feels good to me. That makes me want to play support even more. Like this 6v6 makes me want to play more tank and more support, if anything, which to my understanding, DPS queuing up, everyone queuing up DPS is the issue. So like, overall, as a whole, I was super excited for 6v6 to come to play because I've never played Overwatch 1. I've never played 6v6. I was super excited. And like this playtest totally changed my mind about the format that they currently have. I truly hope that they could find a way to fit 6v6 into this format and just add a ranked version, please. I would love ranked 6v6. Like, I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. The 6v6ers were right, dude. As someone who's never played Overwatch 1, like they were right. 6v6 feels so much better. There's more strategy in it. There's more playmaking ability, especially if you're a tank. It just feels good, dude. It feels good. It feels good to have something new, honestly. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk about this for a little bit. And yeah, this is how I feel. Let me know how you feel down in the comments below. Peace.